Okay, so this video was meant to come out yesterday. What we're doing here is the Yugioh 5D's story duels. It's going to go through all the, well, probably not all of, but most of the duels that happened in the anime, which I have not seen of the 5D's anime, so I don't actually know what the story is about. I know roughly what the story is about, but not well. But anyway, the first match in it is actually a tutorial duel, as we see Yusei and Jack, who are the first official duel of this series, but there is a tutorial duel with Yusei and Tetsu Trudge, I think his name is. Yep, he's the one. So what actually happened yesterday is I did this one. This is me playing against the AI, so obviously I already know what's going to happen now. And which is a shame because I quite enjoyed the commentary that I was doing during it. But so anyway, what actually happened is my USB-C cable going from my MacBook from my Rodecaster 2 Pro to my MacBook wasn't plugged in, and Logic Pro, the program which I used to record the commentary tracks on, didn't really give me a warning that it wasn't plugged in. And it was using the Mac's inbuilt microphone, so there was still a sound wave, and I just assumed it was coming through my microphone or my headset. So the audio that was actually recorded came all through the MacBook's microphone, and it just sounded absolutely horrible. It was basically unusable. So yeah, that's what happened. It happened with both duels. There's also a Pegasus and Joey Starter Deck 2003 series, which I do believe it was written as 2002 in the deck name. That's something that needs to be edited. It's hard to remember sometimes. Those decks actually did come out in 2003, not in 2002, along with Yugi and Kaiba starter decks. So unfortunately, I have also seen the result of that. I didn't actually play in that one, but I know what happens in it. But it was a good match, so I won't spoil any endings. But in these story duels, well, in the tutorial one, it is a predetermined match. It will force you to play cards. The opponent will play the same card every time. Like, it's a predetermined match to get used to it. So I was sort of getting myself acquainted with synchro summoning, because I have barely ever used synchro summons in Yu-Gi-Oh! It's just not the era of Yu-Gi-Oh! That I grew up with. So, but as long as your number of stars are equal or greater, I believe you can do a synchro summon with a tuner, and well, it will say in the card text of the synchro monster of what you actually need for the materials. But the good thing is that I do grasp it now. I know how the synchro summons work. So, in terms of the Yusei and Jack match, you were in for a bit of a, maybe a little bit of a surprise result of how difficult it actually was. So, Tetsu Trudge, he comes into the series pretty early on, I believe. I have to watch 5Ds. In fact, I need to watch all of them. It's just, you know, so little time, so much to watch. So the tutorial duel is done, and I'm guessing Tetsu Trudge must be like a security guard or something, and he was trying to catch Yusei like out past curfew or something. But a blast from the past is the name of the story duel. Came to face with his rival Jack Atlas, who you could say that Yusei and Jack somewhat resemble a little bit of like a Yugi and Kaiba relationship by the look of it, as Dangeri Mothmani. So what I was doing while well, actually it was while I was doing the Pegasus and Joey match, not so much this one, because I was calling it out live as I was playing. But well, it is what it is. These things happen. Yesterday was just a bad day altogether. The recordings went bad. You know, I woke up with a headache as well, but that ended up passing. My head's still ringing a little bit now. I woke up again with it today. It's a bit better now though. But what did I do today? I watched Raw today. For those WWE fans, unfortunately Zoe Stark That was a nasty injury. And I hope I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that she has torn those ligaments in those knees. That PCL and that MCL ligament, that looked like it tore. So that'd probably be about a year off her career, which is a real shame as well because she's had those injuries before. I always liked Zoe Stark as well. I reckon she just didn't get as fair a push as she probably deserved because she was with that Pure Fusion collective stable with Shayna Baszler and oh, what was her name? It'll come to me in a second. I think her name in real life is Demi. Oh, maybe not. It'll come to me in a second. But yeah, she was in that stable for a bit, and that stable just went nowhere. It had a bad name, Pure Fusion Collective. That's too much of a mouthful of a name. As Jack activated trap. I can't remember what that trap card's called, but it's quite a useful one. Sonya Deville. That's the name I'm thinking of. Sonya Deville. I reckon Sonya Deville and Shayna Baszler will probably go to AEW. I'd be surprised if they didn't. So Zoe Stark and Dakota Kai, I would say as well. They are probably next on the release board. Unfortunately, hopefully we see them still wrestling though. Either TNA, AEW, anywhere in the Indies, New Japan. Actually, Shayna Baszler might even go to New Japan. But other than that, I was playing Red Dead a little bit as well. I tell you what, those gambler challenges, man, they really know how to test patience. Red Archfiend Dragon, and you're going to see a brilliant play here by, well, it was made by me. I mean, it wasn't that brilliant, really. It was an obvious one, really. But with Yusei, he has Tuner's Scheme. Activate only when a Synchro monster is special summoned to your opponent's side of the field. Take control of that Synchro monster. It's basically Snatch Steal in trap card form. Except the opponent doesn't get 1,000 life points per standby phase. It's actually, well, it can be targeted with like a Mystical Space Typhoon or something, but at 3,000 attack, if it attacks defense position monsters, it destroys them with effect damage as well. So even if you have cards that don't get destroyed by battle, if they're in defense mode and they get attacked, that Red Dragon Archfiend will destroy them. It's actually a very good effect. But it came out of Jack's pile, not Yusei's. Sonic Chick cannot be destroyed by monsters with 1900 or more. That's very obnoxious Celtic Guardian of that effect as well. Dark Resonator. See, now Dark Resonator will be destroyed. First time of battle, it usually is not destroyed, but it is effect battle, or effect damage. That's why I was actually reading the effect. And I then would have checked Red Dragon Archfiend's effect and gone, ooh, that's a good card. I think that's word for word what I said as well, but Sonic Chick only at 300. But the, as you see, with Jack only one card on the field, only one card in his hand, and Yusei with a 3,000 dragon on the field, along with Sonic Chick, which isn't that strong, but it can be tributed for that turret warrior. Tuner's Scheme is also in Yusei's hand again as well, so Yusei has good trap cards. Ugh. Oh, it's been that sort of day. I was also playing F-Zero. I had never played it before, the one that came out on the Super Nintendo. Unless it came out on the NES, but no, I think it came out on Super Nintendo. I might be wrong about that though. Let's just Google that. Everyone knows the game, F-Zero, NES F-Zero. No, it says it was made for Super Nintendo. I mean, it's the real early Japanese style one, but Super Nintendo all the same. It's not a bad game. Very, very unforgiving, mind you. You can you can be coming first, you can have been coming first the whole race, and then on the last lap, if you go over the bump and go airborne, if you land outside the track, that is it. You have to start the race again. It's like in Mario Kart when you fall off the edge of the stage and Lakitu just brings you up, takes a couple of coins and sets you back on your way. No, in F-Zero, if you crash or you jump and you go out of the barricade, your race is over. You have to start again. And you only get a certain amount of tries, like you do with the original Mario Kart, for those who played that as well. But brutal game, as many of the SNES games were. A lot of them were actually very difficult games. So as you see, Jack isn't getting much on his field, and Yusei now has the ability to synchro summon yet again. This will give him a grand total of 5,800 points on his side of the field with Jack Atlas. And look at that, almost as if it was pre-planned, double summon, which means Junk Synchron can now come to the field, and I do believe Yusei wins on this turn. Look at that, he can even summon from the graveyard. Goes with Quillbolt Hedgehog, well, I went with Quillbolt Hedgehog. Although I did read it correctly. So 5 stars, Junk, Warrior, and look at that. 3 Synchro monsters on the field for Yusei. This was a smashing for Jack. And because of the way this duel played out, I was then thinking, well, how exactly difficult is it going to be for me against Yusei if Jack's deck perform this well as an AI, because you know the AI draw the sequences of cards they typically need, and Yusei did that pretty easily. So I have been told that the decks made from 5Ds and onwards on this game are actually pretty close to how they are in the anime. So if anyone else would like to confirm nor deny that Yusei and Jack's decks and the cards that they used were not, because I'm not 100% sure, but Raid Raptor, that's another archetype that I think is going to be a pretty good one for a tournament someday. But someone did also comment what series were coming up. Real world decks are being created. It's a bit of a different content as well, something we haven't seen. We have seen a little bit of real world decks, but not the structure decks. So the ocean and the fire one are being made. The zombie and the dragon one, the ones that came out in 2005, they're all being put together, they're all being created up, and we're gonna have a good time watching them, I think. Especially for those of us who own those decks back in the day. If anyone remembers Dragon's Roar structure deck and Zombie Madness. Blazing Victory, I think, might have been the fire one. Alright, Shield Warrior. And at a 2000 attack, the effect of Twin Shield. Defender doesn't really do much though. So the way Turret Warrior worked, you can special summon it if you contribute a warrior monster. So that's how Yusei was seemingly able to do 2 summons there. I actually had to check that. I didn't, because I'm one of those Yu-Gi-Oh players that don't read effects. I'd skim read them and get them wrong, and then when I play a game like this, I understand how the card actually works. For example, Mystical Space Typhoon. Using it on an opponent's like Monster Reborn or something doesn't stop Monster Reborn from activating. So, but as you will see from timecode, because I already know how long this went, it was quite a lengthy process. There's still 26.5 minutes left, and you are going to see my absolute struggle of trying to win this with these story decks. The story decks on this, some of the matches can be pretty even, but most of the time they are heavily skewed in one player, or in one player's favour. Usually, I guess, the winning duelist, but that's not always the case. But man, some of these story decks, they are almost impossible to win, and this was one of those cases. Yusei's, it was his Scarecrow trap cards, the ones that activate when you attack. You can only activate them once per turn unless you have multiple copies of it. That's what made this Yusei deck so difficult to defeat. That Scrap Iron Scarecrow, I think the card is called. That card is abysmal to try to attack while that's on the opponent's side of the field. And a problem with Jack's story deck in this one is not only the multiple copies of the same card that aren't helping, he also has no back rank destruction at all. There's one card which does, but you have to get another prompt to actually get that effect to activate. You have to meet like a specific condition, and it's not a condition that Jack's deck, or I can't remember exactly what it was, but it wasn't something that is going to be achieved with this Jack Atlas deck. So well, there we go, I surrendered already. I surrendered a few times because Jack's deck, wow, R6 Samurai Kizan. I had the 6 Samurai deck. I traded it for something else. I think it might have been a bunch of XYZs and stuff, but I remember trading the deck. But the 6 Samurai deck, what a deck that is. It came out as a structure deck, and because I had the zombie one, I had the water one, I had the fire one, I had the winged beast one, Lord of the Storm I think that was called. I had the warrior one, Warrior's Triumph I think it was called. I had the spellcaster one, and I used to have 5 of them until I bought the legendary 6 Samurai one. But with the 5 of them, I used to have mini tournaments with them. So me and my friends would come over. Cameron was one of them. Would come over and would use those cards, and we would play those structure decks against each other. And the zombie one typically won the most. When I brought the 6 Samurai deck, and we had 6 decks, that 6 Samurai deck absolutely mopped the floor with all of them. Wasn't even a contest. The 6 Samurai deck absolutely obliterated them. It's quick, it's strong, it's also very fun to play as well. It's a lot like the Amazoness and the Gravekeepers. Like, they just work so well together. So, Vice Dragon. Oh yes, so Vice Dragon, that's a useful card for Jack. He can special summon that if the opponent has monsters and you do not. Kind of like Cyber Dragon. But its attack and defense get halved. However, if you're going for synchro summons, you can, as you see, 3 stars and 5 stars together equals 8 stars, which means we can pull the Red Archfiend Dragon. And then I was thinking, Yusei might have that synchro stealing card on the field. Tuner's Scheme, I think it was called. 3,000. Now, I will reveal something. Obviously, it being a story duel, I did play this until I eventually won with Jack. The only one which I gave up on, I think, was it the one with Bastion and Zane? Or Jade? Actually, no, it might have been Jaden and Zane. One of them in the GX series on this game, I gave up. It was just too difficult to win that, I think, as Zane. So basically, the reason why Yusei is so hard is he didn't use that synchro stealing card on me, Tuner's Scheme. He did not use that on me once. What made him so difficult to defeat was those damn scarecrows. Those scrap iron scarecrows. And here is where I actually made an error. Again, I didn't read the card effect. So Mad Archfiend goes in for the attack. What I did not read on Mad Archfiend is the fact that if it is attacked, it goes to defense mode. I did not read that effect. And there you go. You see the scrap iron scarecrow. Guess what's going to happen? You'll see soon enough. Look at this battle phase. It attacks Mad Archfiend, sends it to defense mode and destroys it. And Junk Barrage effect comes into play as well. I did not read that effect on Mad Archfiend. I was like, ooh, 1800 attack. Yeet onto the field. And this is where it starts to go wrong. 2 polymerizations in a row, which just doesn't help. That's another thing about these story duels. And look at this, 2 of them. 2 scrap iron scarecrows, basically making it impossible for me to attack. So each one can only be activated once per turn, but of course, if there's multiple of them on the field, it's a very trolling card. And because Jack doesn't, at least he didn't draw any, I don't think he has any when it comes to Mystical Space Typhoons or, I don't know, Jinzos to stop the trap cards. And look at this, 2800. The spell card is activated. That 2800 can gain another 1000 points. And I can only get that off the field with my 3000 attack. Yusei has 2 scrap iron scarecrows on the field. So my attacks are not going to reach him. And we get Twin Shield Defender at this time, but it was at this time I was sitting here and I was thinking, how the hell am I going to win this? Staring down 2800 attack. If Yusei activates a spell card, his guy will get a 1000 point boost till the end of the turn, which will destroy my 3000. And what more is that with those scrap iron scarecrows, I am now in big, big trouble. Sorry, just bumping my microphone a little bit there. I'm paranoid now. I'm staring at the laptop. Even if I sit back and go, oh yeah, it's coming through the microphone. You have these things happen and you get so paranoid. Like, I've worked with audio stuff a long time, but you know, those accidents, something just not being plugged in, and you know, like they still happen to you. It happens to all of us in the audio world. It doesn't matter how many years we do it for. How many years have I done audio stuff for? Whether it's live event stuff, I mix sound for live bands for many years as well. It doesn't matter. It would be close to 10, I would say. Doesn't matter how long you do this stuff for, things like that still get you. They still happen. Turret Warrior. Ugh. Yeah, look at that. 4000 attack. And there goes my big dragon. So without big scary dragon, Jack cannot win. So I believe I refused to play on. Actually, I could. The funny thing is, I could fusion summon that that multiple piece golem, but only at 2600. He isn't enough. Medium piece golem, big piece golem into multiple piece golem. I think if it was multiple piece golem, you would want small piece golem in there as well. I mean, multiple can still be 2, but you think like multiple, you think more than 2. Because 2 you usually associate as a couple or a double or something like that. Stardust Dragon, 2500. I think that has a little cameo appearance, little scene play when that summons as well, I think. Creation Resonator. And yep, I surrendered. I was like, yeet, I'm not playing against Yusei and those scarecrows. And the thing is, like, I think it took me, it may have been about 5 or so attempts with Jack to finally get the win. It wasn't fun, but Anyway, what more is coming up on our end in terms of Yu-Gi-Oh production? I would like to do some... Maybe I should do some more early day stuff as well. I bought that game, barely ever played it. And it was... When I was... just getting comfortable here. A little bit of ASMR. Just lay flat on the bed with the top of my head still buzzing a bit from that headache. The worst headaches I find are the ones you wake up with. If you get them throughout the day, you can, I don't know, just have a Panadol or something. Or I think in the US, I think use aspirin or something. Over here, Panadol is the headache coater, but oh man, the ones you wake up with, they're the ones that stick. They just stick like glue to your head for the whole day. So, what was I saying? Oh yes, while I was streaming Red Dead, Emperor Pikachu and me were having a bit of a chat, and he was like that I should play Duel Links. And I was looking at it today, and it's free. I did not notice that as... Oh, how does this keep happening? I keep getting added to these stupid group chats. They end up in message requests, but it's still annoying. But yeah, Duel Links is apparently free. Apparently it's dated a little bit. It's only got like 7,000 to 8,000 cards. This game's got 10,000. I think in the real world, currently there's about 13,000 or 14,000, something like that. But it is free and a lot of people do play it. Something I absolutely want to try and get going is dueling with fans who watch as well. I would much rather do Duel Links than Master Duel though, and I haven't even played Duel Links. I've tried Master Duel, I don't know, it just doesn't do it for me. I hate the way you gain cards on that. It's tedious as absolute abomination. I don't know how it is on Duel Links, so I hope it's not worse. Do we need a new Yu-Gi-Oh game? Like this one, where it's not too difficult to get all the cards. You know what though? This game, even with older cards, this game doesn't have all of them. It doesn't have Steel Scorpion, it doesn't have Swordsman of a Foreign Land, or Swordsman from a Distant Land, I think it's also called. And it doesn't have Spirit Elimination. There's probably a few other cards like that that it doesn't have, but they're card effects that just aren't used. I think the Steel Scorpion, I think it's destroyed after the second turn that your opponent destroys it by battle. I think Swordsman of a Distant Land, I think it's like 5 turns after it gets destroyed by battle. Which is like, some duels don't even last 5 turns. Spirit Elimination, that card isn't in any Yu-Gi-Oh games because of the how strange its effect actually is. It's actually... What it does is, if your opponent removes monsters from play, from the graveyard, you can trigger Spirit Elimination, and you can move cards or monsters from your side of the field instead of the ones from the graveyard getting removed from play. That's what the card does. It's just... The effect of that is so not useful. And so difficult to pull off as well. It's also a magic card, and I don't think it's a quick play. I think it's just a standard magic card. Spirit Elimination Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah, it's just a regular spell card. Yeah, when monsters in the graveyard are removed from play, remove monsters on your side of the field from play as substitutes. This card remains active until the end of the turn that it is activated. The substitutes remain removed from play. Yeah, it's a, like, no one's ever going to use that card, so I guess they don't print it in games to have to code the effect in. Which, I mean, it makes sense, but still Scorpion and Swordsman of a Distant Land kind of have that little bit of nostalgia for me because they were in Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories. In fact, if you fuse those two together, you get Cyber Soldier 1500. So here we go. I've got my big scary dragon on the field. Going in for the attack against the attack position as Ghost Gardener must absorb the attack itself. And then reduces me down to 2000. But it's all good though, I go back to 3000 at the end. I do believe this may be the one where I actually got it done because the duel that I won against Yusei, that took a long time. I was somewhat lucky to win it as well, but you will see the absolute frustration as, yes, I remember this, Fusion Sage at the absolute time where I don't need it because polymerization is already in hand. I have no fusion material and now there's at least there's a polymerization out of my deck, and there it is, the Scrap Iron Scarecrow. I had so much had enough of that card by the end of this match. Labyrinth of Nightmare is the booster pack. That Spirit Elimination. I actually have that on card. Up in that shoebox up there, but so okay, tuning where. So it's amazing how many cards this game actually has. When you think about it, like this game has 13,000 to 14,000 or so, probably more than that now, but unique cards. When you think about it, someone has drawn like each and every one of these cards by hand. Like the card artistry is just nuts. Like when you think about Pokemon cards, there's a lot of Pokemon cards out there as well, but like they're drawing the same characters. Yu-Gi-Oh is like something different, something unique almost like for every card. So when you think about it like that, and there's even some variations of certain cards as well. In terms of the Pokemon world, I am going to do a video soon doing all the item finder locations in Gen 2. It's a video that I've been meaning to do for a while. It's just that I don't like finding the item finder items in caves because the caves in Gen 2 are a pain in the ass to try to navigate through. But in due time, solo runs as well for Gen 2 and finishing off the solo runs in Gen 1. Oh, I will admit, I am so tired right now, man. Like, I keep yawning, I know. But a Yu-Gi-Oh! ASMR series is something that I would really like to do as well. And this duel went for so long, and look at this Scrap Iron Scarecrow is just... can anyone hear my beanbag? Anyone here? There we go. Oops, into the microphone. Hear that rustling? My beanbag. I got this beanbag. It's shaped like an egg. It's supposed to be a soccer ball. Or if you're in Europe, you call it a football. Over here, generally we call it soccer over here as well. But if you're in Europe, it is called football. It's shaped like an egg, but it's it came with my copy of FC25, which I prefer the old FIFA games like FIFA 10. I never should have traded that game in. It's the only time I've ever traded games in was that one time. I traded a bunch of old PS2 games I barely ever played. Got pretty much nothing for it, and it just wasn't worth it. FIFA 10 was my jam back in the day. I played that game so much. Because it was comedic and really arcadey. You could score goals from like the most ridiculous spots on the field, but it was fun like that. FC25, they claim The developers are like, there's no scripting in this game. It's realistic. No, that game is scripted to the max, and it's ridiculous. For those that don't know what that's referring to, scripting in sport games means it's a certain animation that happens when the ball is given like a certain command. So if you're going to cross the ball in, so like you're going to kick the ball towards your goal but not at your goal, so a player can jump up and head it. Scripting is when something like that happens and the goalkeeper and the defender and the striker all do this motion, but they follow a certain certain movements, and it's supposed to result in either the goalkeeper catching the ball or the ball hitting the offensive player's head. But the thing is, if something interferes with the ball and that scripting command activates, the goalkeeper will often dive when the ball hasn't been shot towards the goal, or sometimes a penalty will get given because the game's scripting says that this player is going to go for a tackle and foul your player, but it never actually happens. And I've had that happen on mine where I get penalties for like no reason at all, and it's just scripting in those FIFA games or scripting in any sport game is bad because it makes really weird stuff happen. And when it happens, it's very obvious that it's scripting. So I don't know how many people who would watch Yu-Gi-Oh stuff would play sport games. I know there is a few sport fans in the comments. I know I think it's Moonwolfy comments about the NBA Finals quite often. For all those NBA fans, you know what? I think NBA is the most popular sport in the age groups of like 18 to 25 or something. Most popular, for the US anyway. Oh yeah, 8:30 tomorrow, 8:30 AM for Perth, Western Australia. The Timberwolves and the Thunder. Man, where did the Thunder come from? They were on the bottom of the table for like years. Like over the last 5 years, they have always finished on the bottom. I don't know where they finished last year, but I remember OKC always being like 15th or 14th, I think. Sorry for any Pistons fans, but I think Detroit Pistons were usually 15th. But man, OKC are back. Small piece golem, so you see how I'm struggling here. There are 2 of those scarecrows on the field, and Yusei is using them to block my dragon's attack every time. So I've got 4 monsters on the field. I might as well have 2. I might as well have 2 monsters on the field when I have 4. Beanbag. This beanbag's like, the material that it's made out of is like, it's like this really silky kind of material. It's really nice. Really, really nice material. When I move house, I reckon I might get a beanbag. One of those beanbag chairs. I used to have one years ago, but it popped and the beads went everywhere, which was a big cleanup. That's the only bad thing about beanbags is, yeah, if they pop, the beads, or the beanbag beads in them, go everywhere. Yusei gets hit by 1100. He will guard that. He will guard the 3000 as well, so my 1600 and my 400 will be able to attack. It'll give Yusei another turn. That Scrap Iron Scarecrow, I don't like that card. I think I might dislike that card more than Mirror Force, because it's just so frustrating. But this will be the one. So it took what was it, 4 or 5 attempts for Jack to finally get it, but he got there in the end. So this one is about to, I think it wraps up this turn. Prideful Roar. Rawr. You want to attack me? Oh, rawr. I got more attack points. Rawr. Oh, delirium when you're tired. Isn't it fun? What was I doing? I was probably watching reels or something at 3 o'clock in the morning like I do. You all know the brain rot reels that you watch at 3 o'clock in the morning? Oh, they're fun. 1100, this will be it. Will he use the scarecrow? He does. He uses it twice. He's like, I am going to protect myself. You see, now the AI won't actually surrender or give up, even if they know they're going to lose. They don't actually surrender. So, but... Oh, Jackie boy finally won. Oh, it took ages, but Jack finally got the win. So in the next one, that's Yusei on the left. I don't know who that character is on the right. I can sort of picture him. I'm just not familiar enough with the 5D's characters. Maybe I'll try the anime tonight, maybe. Who knows? Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. Pegasus and Joey, Starter Deck 2003 coming up next as well. Thanks for tuning in, wherever you are in the world. Stay safe, take care, farewell.